and it does this cool thing as well. That's quite nice. Now we'll check if it's collided with the player. The way we'll do that is we'll check if it's constantly overlapping the player. Let's make another function for that. From functions, do something. Let's call this check if overlapping player. And then we want to run this function constantly check if overlapping player. And what this check if overlapping player function will do is it needs an if block from control flow. If, and then we want to ask if it's overlapping the player. So from sensing down the bottom we've got myself overlaps instance toucher. Myself overlaps, and then we want to change this to player, instance player. If myself overlaps the player, what I'm going to do is tell the player broadcast that message player die. From events, broadcast message player die. And then the fireball itself should die as well. We don't want it hanging around. Let's make another function. This one we'll call spawn explosions and die. So this object, this fireball, will make some explosions and it'll destroy itself. If it's overlapping the player, it will spawn its explosions and die, so we'll run that function in there as well. And before we go and spawn the explosions, we'll just test it just destroying itself. Okay, so the player will get that message player die, and this object will destroy itself. Looks good, let's test that. Boom, worked perfectly. A few more things we want the heat-seeking fireball to do. We want it to spawn smoke from behind it, so that'll look like a cool smoke trail. We want it to spawn explosions when it explodes into something, and we also want it to be able to be shot by bullets.